Hello there, welcome to Dishing Out. Thanks for stopping by. Let's get a couple orders of business out of the way right off the bat. Yes, I need a haircut. And yes, you need to subscribe to this channel. We post new videos every Monday, and I just couldn't live with myself if I thought you were missing out on that content. So click the little subscribe button, click the bell so you'll get notifications for future videos, and now let's get to it. Raise your hand if, in the last 6 months, you've walked through the meat section of your grocery store and had a hard time finding the specific cut you were looking for. I can't see you, but I'm guessing there's a lot of hands out there, and mine among them. With a global pandemic wrecking the supply chain and causing production shortfalls, and a massive increase in demand with millions of people eating at home and not going out as much, it's no surprise at all, really, that sometimes it's just hard to come by meat. With that in mind, we were very intentional in creating the list of episodes for Season 3 and wanting to have at least a handful of vegan dishes, ones that were either vegan or easily modifiable. Today, we're bringing you one of those. It's our riff on a pad thai. We're skipping the fish sauce and tamarind paste and instead opting for a sauce made with soy, peanut butter, some veggie stock, and other great flavors. It's a darn good dish if you're vegan, and if you have any chicken or shrimp sitting around, you can throw those in too.
Alrighty, so let's take a look at our ingredients here. What do we got? Well, we got some rice noodles. Any brand will do. Some extra firm tofu. And I'm using a plant-based protein called hempe, but you could use tempeh or seitan or any kind of protein of your choosing. And then there's a whole bunch of other stuff here. We'll start with the mushrooms. We want to get the stems out, and you can just do that by pulling them out, or if they're real woody, you may just want to cut it. I'm using shiitakes, but really any kind of mushroom would work fine. I just like the meaty texture of the shiitakes. So we'll get those cut up into half-inch strips. Go ahead and finally dice up some green onions. And thinly cut one medium to large carrot. And you want to do this as thinly as possible so that it cooks quickly. We're also going to work with a nice knob of ginger. Gonna need about a tablespoon all said and done. Just use the back of a spoon to peel it, then slice it and dice it. Next up, we have a Fresno chili. You could use jalapeno or any kind of chili of your choice, or leave it out if you're heat averse. Gonna go ahead and cut one lime in half. We'll need its juice later. And finally, 2 garlic cloves. Get the same slice and dice treatment. We need about 1.5 cups of napa cabbage, or the cabbage of your choosing. And now let's talk about our tofu. It may say extra firm, but there's still a lot of moisture in there. So get it onto a plate with a paper towel. Go ahead and cover it with some more paper towels and apply some pressure to try and get some of that moisture out. We'll go ahead and cut our hempe into large bite-sized pieces. And now let's make our sauce. We are going to start with 1/2 cup of vegetable stock or broth. We'll go ahead and add that to a bowl. Next up, a 1/4 cup of rice wine vinegar. Now we're going to need some peanut butter. Please try and get natural stuff. Doesn't have a lot of extra additives and ingredients. And let's add a 1/4 cup of that. For just a touch of sweetness, a tablespoon of maple syrup and a few good shots of sesame oil. All the exact ingredients will be in the description down below and available on our website. 1/4 cup of soy sauce goes in, and optionally, I like a little splash of sriracha, about a tablespoon. This is going to be virtually impossible to really get homogeneous, so just mix it up a little bit and trust that it will come together in the wok. After about 20 to 30 minutes of pressure on our tofu, it is noticeably more firm, so we're going to go ahead and cut that up also into bite-sized pieces. And we need to cook it to get the proper texture. So in a non-stick skillet, please use non-stick. Tofu sticks like crazy. Get about a teaspoon to a tablespoon of olive oil and cook it for 8 to 10 minutes, flipping occasionally until it develops a nice golden brown crust on the outside. Go ahead and get that out to rest and go ahead and cook any other proteins of your choosing. The hempe needs just about 5 to 6 minutes to warm through and get a little color on both sides. Alright, well that's mostly done. Let's get that out. And now the final step of our preparation is to cook our rice noodles. So usually about 4 or 5 minutes, but just do it according to your package directions. Now we can stir fry. So a tablespoon of oil goes into a wok or large skillet. And we're going to put our carrots and mushrooms in as they take the longest amount of time to cook. So let's give them a head start. 3 to 4 minutes until the mushrooms begin to soften and the carrots pick up a little color. Then we can add in the rest of our vegetation, green onions, ginger, garlic, and chili. And that just needs a couple of minutes until it is fragrant and beginning to soften. Then add the protein of your choosing. That's 8 ounces, by the way, of tofu and 8 ounces of hempe. The cabbage may look like a lot, but it will wilt down significantly in the heat. Just stir that around for a couple minutes until the cabbage is wilted, and then make a little pocket in the side of the pan or pot to dump in that sauce. And the heat is pretty quickly going to melt that peanut butter and make everything nice and homogeneous, but just go ahead and help it out with a spatula or a pair of tongs. The last thing that we need to do here is squeeze in that fresh lime that we cut in half earlier. Depending on how much juice you get, you may only need half, but I usually put a whole one in. Add your rice noodles, and again, depending on the brand and what kind you're using, they may soak up that sauce really fast. And if that's the case, no worries. Just splash in a little water or stock to make sure it's the right consistency, kill the heat, stir everything to combine, and then it's time to plate it up. We'll be garnishing this with some bean sprouts, some cilantro leaves, some chopped peanuts, and a little drizzle of sriracha. But again, you can do whatever you want.
Alrighty, let's check this out and see how it came out. The tofu is just very soft, has a nice, almost kind of meaty texture from the fact that we cooked it for 8 or 10 minutes and got a little bit of browning on the outside. The heat from the sriracha, the acidity of the lime juice, and the umami from the soy sauce. Hits a ton of different flavor notes. I know you may be a little skeptical. I have been myself as well before, but cooking without meat is nothing to be afraid of, not especially when the results taste this good. We'll be back next week with a very meat-centric episode. If anybody was bothered by the lack of that in this video, I apologize. So I look forward to seeing you then. Have a great week, and go make something delicious.